Hi, Gemini. This is a mid-September reading for you. Two of Pentacles just flopped out there. Put it back in. Been shuffling off camera. You can see that I'm shuffling a couple times here on camera. I'm shuffling the cards really well, and I actually mentioned in the Taurus reading that the Fool doesn't come out often, or historically has not come out often in readings that I've done. So I've always made note of it. And I've done 3 readings this morning. They've all had the Fool in them. So that's interesting to me. But also I want to mention times are pretty tight for me right now. And if you're interested at all in a personal reading, I'm doing 1 question readings for $8 and 2 for $11. So if you are interested in that, check the description box for a way to get a hold of me, and we'll get that hooked up. And if not, just enjoy your reading. We got Judgment here on the bottom of the deck. And let me shift these over a little bit so you can see them better. Give me just a minute to take these in and get a feel for what I'm looking at here. So, like I said, I'm shuffling a lot off camera. You know, I sit here for a minute and just shuffle the cards over and over in between readings. But the Fool, I think the Wheel of Fortune, and the Star have been in every reading so far this morning, which is just 3 readings. But it's funny considering I'm pulling 12 cards out of a 72 card deck, and those 3 keep coming up. So there must be something. I feel like collectively we're on the cusp of major changes in our lives. Oh, you know, I think the Queen of Pentacles as well. I think the Queen of Pentacles has been in every reading. But I do think that we're on the cusp of a major change. I think that it's maybe nearer than a lot of people think. Maybe you're worried that it's not very close, actually. That the change that you're hoping for is actually not on the horizon, but you really have no idea. You have no idea what's going on. You are the Fool stumbling forward, I feel like you're expecting more pain and disappointment, honestly. Maybe that's something that you've experienced for a while, but based on what I'm seeing here, I feel like you imagine that that is what's on offer. Yeah, I do think that there's an element of that is historically something that you dealt with. Maybe in your life there has been a lot of disappointment, a lot of hurt, a lot of suffering, a lot of struggling, a lot of mental anguish. But I really feel like that's shifting. I feel like a more stable energy is coming in. That I feel like a lot of that time you were suffering alone, or you felt like you were suffering alone. But the message I'm getting is that the universe saw you. I think you probably felt like nobody. I'm getting a little emotional. So sometimes when I'm talking, I get a little choked up. So hopefully I won't do that. But I feel like you were suffering alone. And you felt like you were suffering alone. And nobody saw you. Nobody understood. It was just you alone in the void with your pain and disappointment. But the universe saw you. The divine saw you. You're not alone. You're not alone going through when you were going through what you've gone through or what you may still indeed be going through. I don't know exactly where you are on this journey, but you were never alone. You've never been alone. You may not always be able to, you may not have tangible people around you who care, that you can see, care for you, care that you're suffering, care that you're struggling. But never doubt that the divine sees you. The divine is always with you. The divine dwells within you and within everything that surrounds you. And if you don't know that, I think that you will know that. I think that this suffering and most likely isolation is something that has been put on your path to help you mature more quickly. And I feel like you are approaching this period of the maturation that you've gone through will become more evident to you. And I feel like it has, I don't know if this is something that you see yet. There is an element to me for sure that this is in the future if you don't see it yet. It will become apparent to you that you are more balanced, that your passionate, fiery emotions, and I don't mean necessarily, when I say that, it may, you may think anger, and it may be anger for you, it may be a temper. But it may just be that your emotions, when they become dark or negative, become overpowering and very clouding and difficult for you to deal with. They may drown out your true nature so that you lose sight of who you are and what you're capable of. And you see you see only yourself as the Five of Cups here, which is exactly what I'm talking about, where he doesn't see the 2 cups behind him that aren't spilled. He's only focused on the 3 that are. I feel like that's exactly what I'm talking about, actually, where it's just the focus becomes all about this negativity, all about this pain, all about this suffering. I feel like you're going to develop a better vision through trying times. You will become more balanced. You will be able to, instead of struggling against life's up and downs, you will be able to flow with them more. And they will be less suffocating and less disheartening if you experience bumps in the road. Give me just a second. This figure on the 3 of Wands, what is it that they see on the horizon? I feel like there are things that are going to be on offer to you that you don't necessarily want, that don't seem appealing to you in the moment, that you will have to cut through any kind of clouded thinking that you might have and really discern. Like told you at the beginning, judgment here is on the bottom of the deck, and I just glanced at the bottom before I started reading these two, and it's kind of supporting what I'm saying, is that you'll have to cut through any kind of clouded thinking and really discern whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, whether this really is something that you should reject, or if it's something that you should, if you're bullshitting yourself over and it's really a good thing, but you just don't want to deal with it. So I feel like, well, here, let me. Yeah, there's an element of wanting to stay stuck, I feel like. This is very different from the other two readings that I've done this morning, even though they do support the theme of major transition periods. Um, this is the only one where I've gotten the vibe of I want to stay stuck where I am. But there is an element of that at play here. I think that you're very scared of the change that you're being asked to go through. And those two readings were more about being ready and recognizing it and moving, ready to move forward, ready to act on what you needed to do. And there is an element here, there's a much more negative element here, and there's much more of this. I think you want to be strong and be able to see what to do and be able to trust it and just see it clearly. But you've got to cut through, like I said, bullshitting yourself into thinking that it's actually preferable to stay where you are and to not make changes. I'm going to pull a couple of oracle cards to get a little bit of further clarity. And again, these are cards that I've shuffled off camera in between readings. Community at the bottom of the deck. Hostilities and patience are the cards that came out. So I think that you really, you may be facing some real trials here. You know, like I said, that there's more negativity in this reading than either of the other ones. And to me, this hostilities kind of drives the point home that the challenges that you're facing are real. They're not, it's genuinely not easy for you what you're going through. But you have to be patient in navigating this stuff because you're not seeing it all clearly and you're not seeing where it's going. I feel like, I asked for these cards as clarifications for what this figure on the Three of Wands is actually looking at in the distance on the horizon to see what's ahead of them. And he apparently has to navigate real difficulties that he's very concerned about. And this you just have to trust is what it comes down to. You have to trust that as you walk through the fire, you're not going to burn completely up. That the fire is actually um, burning off dead skin, dead weight that you no longer need, and is actually harmful to your further development. So I hope that resonates with you. Like I said, I wish that it were as glowingly positive as the other two readings that I've done this morning, but I still feel like you're on the threshold of a major change and that ultimately it's positive. I just feel like you're not to the point where you can see it yet, and you may be plagued by doubts, um, somewhat based on where you've been as a projection into the future, but also because you do have things that you really do have to overcome in the present moment and able to be able to move forward. So I hope that it resonates with you, Gemini. I hope you have a good rest of your month. Take care of yourself. Bye.